I'm Alex from Five Tails, and so today we're going to walk through how you can get 700 different ideas for articles for your content marketing strategy using either the Goliath or using the David strategy. So first of all, we're in Google Keyword Planner right now, so this is a Google Adwords tool. If you don't use Adwords, start using Adwords and then get access to this Keyword Planner. There's plenty of articles out there, and I'm going to put some in the link in the description of this video for you to go and check out. Now, once we're in this Google Keyword Planner, we've selected search for new keywords using a phrase, website, or category. And this is how we would go through and generate 700, 1,000, 2,000 different article ideas for a company when they're looking to begin their content marketing strategy for SEO purposes. So what we're going to do is start entering anything about our business, what it's about, what it offers, or just generally what we want to rank for. So we're a real estate business in this example. So we're going to do apartments. We're going to use how to rent. We'll go how to sell a house. So you can see I'm using some phrases at the moment, not just basic keywords like house sale. I'm actually going to go how to sell a house so that hopefully I can get some phrases similar to that. We'll enter two more here. So we'll also enter what does selling a house involve? Now, I don't expect many of these phrases to actually have any search volume, and that's perfectly fine. I don't want these keywords necessarily to have huge search volumes, because what I want is to give myself as many options after this as possible. So we'll also go finding a real estate agent. That'll be a really nice idea for us. So we've got ourselves a small list off the bat. Generally, I would recommend putting 20 to 30 keywords in here. But I mean, that depends on your business. Maybe there's only a few things you can think of. That's fine, because as you'll see, once we've entered this, we're also going to go all locations. And just for our own purposes, we're just going to enter Australia, because for this example, my real estate agent is Australia-wide. So we're just going to be Australia. And then the rest of this, I'm going to leave just as is. And now I hit this Get Ideas button. What you're going to see is the Keyword Planner is currently just loading. It's trying to get as many ideas as possible, and boom. You can see it's come with a lot of stuff now on the screen for us. So here is our average monthly searches. So you can see the total number of these keywords that they've come up with is in 3 million monthly searches. 3 million. And so what that's telling me is that these article ideas that I'm going to get from these keywords, a lot of people are searching for them and a lot of people want them. So it's going to give me a great basis to start with. So as you can see from this button here, there are 705 different keywords that they've come up with for me, which is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And it's going to give me a great basis. So if I scroll down, you can see I can sort by average monthly searches. So when I look at this, see real estate, that's obviously getting us a lot of these searches at the moment. So that's probably a bit too large for us to look at. You can still see houses for sale, rental properties, houses for sale, property for sale. And you can see a lot of different options coming up. And so hopefully there'll be some great ideas. Now what we want to do before we take this data out of Google, that's what we're going to do, we're going to take it out of Google. So we're going to go to Add Group Ideas. From this section, this is where we'll actually download this. So that you understand, what this is telling me is some groups that these keywords might actually exist in. And this can be really, really relevant for the David strategy, where we're trying to get a fewer number of articles, but make as many keywords as possible in the article. So then we're going to move to this download button that you can see over here. You can then download your ideas and then open that into an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm just going to do that now. Alright, so as you can see, I'm now in Excel. And so what I've done is I've actually downloaded all of those keywords that we just got out of Google AdWords, and they're all now here for me. So from this list that I've now downloaded, I can sort, I can group things together, and I can have a lot more control of the data that I've now got. So to begin with, I'm going to show you all the stuff that I'll do to set up this spreadsheet so that it's easy enough for me to use. So first of all, we're going to start by deleting the currency column. So I've obviously got this in Australian dollars, and I don't need this. So I'm just going to right click on top of the column and select the delete option from the drop down menu. And I'm also going to move across, and at this suggested bid, so column E for me now, I'm going to go from here all the way across to K with a shift button. So if I am on E and I've selected the column, shift, click over to K, I can then delete all of those columns. So this is just going to clear the screen a bit for me, which makes life a little bit easier and a little bit more clean, so that when I'm actually looking at this list, I don't have 1,000 numbers, I've just got what I need. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag across this little bar so that I can see these words a little clearer. I'm going to do the same thing for the B column as well. So now I can fully see all of my keywords. It makes life that much easier. Now, from the A1 cell, I'm going to then hit Shift and go over to D. Then I'm going to go Shift. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to hit Command. Otherwise, it's Control if you're on a Windows computer, I believe. And then I'm going to hit down onto the arrow keys. What that does is select every keyword and every row that's in my spreadsheet. And then from here, I'm going to go up the top right to the Sort and Filter button and select Filter. What this does is gives me these little buttons at the top. Now these buttons are fantastic because I can now easily sort by any of these options. So if I decide that I want to sort by keywords in alphabetical order, I can click on that down arrow, select ascending, and it's now going to sort all of these keywords in alphabetical order, which is unbelievable and a very, very useful tool. Now what we're actually going to do is, instead of sorting by keyword, we're going to go to the C column, average monthly searches, and we're going to select ascending there. Descending there is actually probably a better place to start for us today. And so this is going to give us the keywords sorted by how many times they're searched every month in Australia, which is a great, great starting point for us to look at this list, as it's going to tell us what people actually want to find. Now, we're going to look at this list in two different ways, in the Goliath and the David way. So what I'm quickly going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this tab. You don't need to know how to do this. This is just for my own purposes. And I'm going to move this to the end, create a copy. What that's going to allow me to do is I'm going to rename this one we're currently on just to the Goliath Strategy. So if you haven't fully read through the article yet and you've forgotten what the Goliath Strategy is, it's about aiming for as many articles as possible with a really low keyword density, so only really 1 or 2 keywords are targeted per article. And the article length is quite low at 300 to 500 words is sort of what we're looking at in that kind of a strategy. So the way I like to think of that is that there's 1,000 different things out there that we could write about, and we're actually going to write about 1,000 different things, so that whenever anyone searches for any of those terms, hopefully one of our articles is going to appear. So it allows us to do some slightly lower quality content, but allow us to still target as many keywords as possible, which is a great option for us. So from this list, we're now looking to get any keyword that we could write an article about, which, if we look at this list, is quite a number of them. Now, not all of them, because a lot of these are going to be a bit challenging for us to write about. For instance, we can't write about APT, the standing for apartment. So what we're going to do is we're going to start removing keywords like that from our list by just going over, selecting the row, then going Control or right click, and then delete. So now that's gone from my list, so I no longer have to see that when I go through. So that's what you're going to try and do, is go through this list. I know it's 700 keywords. That's generally what you're going to pull out of Google AdWords, is about 700 keywords. But by sorting through them, makes life a little bit easier for us. And that's a really, really great way of going through. So rent is a keyword that I'm not necessarily going to target, but the thing I want you to remember is that even if I'm not targeting rent, if I target houses for rent, or rent apartments for rent, or rooms for rent, it's going to hit the keyword rent. So I'm still going to be able to rank for that, but I'm not going to build an article just around the keyword rent, because that's just going to waste my time. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that really quickly. And then I'm going to give you one quick tip from me. What you don't want to target, especially for instance in this realty market, or if I'm doing a business selling shoes or selling clothes of some kind of some kind of retail business, you don't want to target keywords that have for sale. For sale keywords are for product pages. Okay, so what I mean by that is if I have a listing for apartments for sale, then I want that kind of a page to rank for that term. but I don't want to have to make an article for real estate for sale. Those kind of keywords, although get large search volumes, aren't really going to be where I'm going to find a large amount of success. So I'm looking for some much more specific keywords. So I'm going to take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and I'm going to sort through this list off camera, and I'm going to come back and chat to you about what I've done and the keywords that I've pulled together as possible article ideas. So I'll see you then. Alright, so I've spent 5 minutes and I've sorted through my list and I've come up with a few of the keywords that I might like to write articles about. So in this actual list here, there are 93 keywords. So 93 possible articles if I'm doing the Goliath strategy that I can go after and go ahead and write an article or pay someone to write an article about. Now, the way that I've actually done this, you'll see a lot of hows here at the moment. So how to sell a house, how to quickly sell your house, how to sell a house, which seems bad English, but something people search for. You'll see a lot of that. The hows is a word that I targeted, and then if I scroll down, you can see there's a couple whats that are starting to pop in as well. So what sells a house, what to do to sell your home, things like that. Now, the reason that I've gone after hows and whats at this stage are those are keywords with intent behind them, but they're not necessarily searching for sell my house or how to find or finding a house or I want to rent an apartment. I'm actually going after slightly broader keywords where the searches might not necessarily be salesy. So if I'm a real estate agent, I'm trying to sell a house, but how to sell your house, I can explain that to them, enter them into a funnel or a pitch where I can then try and get them onto my service, or at least think of my name when they go to actually sell their home. So I have a lot of hows and whats. Now, there are 5 generally keywords that you're looking for in any of these topics. And so I'm going to write these down. So what is a big keyword that you're going to go after? So what to do to sell a home is a term that might be something I want to write an article about. Why? So why should I sell my home is another keyword that's very easy to write an article about, very useful too. Then the how, so how to sell your house, how to sell a house. Those keywords generally do very well as articles. And then occasionally, who. You'll want to find some who keywords. So who should I use to sell my house? You can target that keyword. It might be a bit of a more challenging keyword to target, but it's one you can definitely target and is worthwhile going after. And then the final one that I'm actually going to put in here is tips. Now, tips can also be swapped with ways to do something. So tips for selling your home or ways to sell your home. I like to sort of group those two together. So tips and ways is sort of a combination one for me. So I guess you could say there's 6 really if you split them up, but those are sort of the 5 or 6 words you're looking for in any of these phrases that you want to then target, because they're going to give you some really targeted articles that are really, really useful for you. So with that list, you can then go through and sort out your whats, your whys, your hows, your whos, your tips and ways, and maybe there's a few other keywords in there that you notice as you go through the list, and you're going to be able to use those as well. And it's going to make a great deal of use for you. You'll have to spend some time on it, but it's going to be worthwhile doing it. Now, my final recommendation is that you've got your list, you've got all your what's, why, hows, whos, tips and ways. Take that list, put it back into the Google Keyword Planner, and there's actually an option to try and find, you can either go for search for new keywords, or you can go multiply your list. Select either of those options, try and see what you can get out of Google Keyword Planner, because you want to build this list up. Because I might have 93 here, maybe if I had all of those 5 in there, or 6 in there, I might have 180, 190, 250 keywords. I'm not going to write an article just on 250 if I'm going after a Goliath strategy. I'm looking for 1,000, okay? Or I'm looking for 800. That's a lot of articles to get, so you're going to have to multiply your list as much as possible. But hopefully that gives you a basis point, and you can go off and start doing the Goliath strategy. Alright, so I've shown you now how to do the Goliath strategy, where we're targeting as many keywords as possible. And now we're going to talk about the David strategy, where what we're going to do is instead of writing 1,000 articles, we might go after 30 or 40 or 50 articles, which are of a longer length. so 1,000, 2,000 words, and they're also really keyword dense. So they have a lot more keywords in each of them that they're going after. Now the advantage of doing the David strategy is there's less content to write. You're going to be writing better content usually, so when people land on it, they might be more inclined to actually enjoy it. And also longer content does a lot better in terms of SEO, search engine optimization, which is what we're doing. It does a lot better. So although 300, 500 is sort of the baseline number, and with an article like that, you can rank very easily. If you're in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 word article, you're going to get a boost, and it's going to make quite a significant difference. So it's a more challenging strategy because your content does have to be better, and you have to be smart about how you use so many different keywords. And the research version of it, which is what we're doing now, is a bit more time consuming, but it's really worthwhile your time. So what we're going to do is we've taken that same list we've just used, but instead of going for how and what, we've gone how and ways. So there's a couple of ways down the bottom here. You can see tips have also gotten in. So what we're going to do is we're now going to turn this list into a couple of categories, which will then turn into articles. So there's only 91 keywords this time, but we're going to try and group a bunch of them together and maybe get 3, 4, 5 different article ideas. So all I'm going to do is, as I go through, I'm going to look for similar keywords. So you can see at the top here, how to sell a house privately. I'm going to straight away just copy this keyword and I'm going to bring it over here. Then I'm going to how to sell your house privately, and I'm going to bring that there as well. So I'm trying to find a theme of privately. That seems to be something people are searching for. So privately is now going to be a keyword that I go after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Command F or Control F if you're on a Windows, or go to the top right here and search sheet. And I'm going to type in the word privately. Because what this is going to do is highlight for me now any of these that have privately in them. So I can then go through and add these to my list as I go. So just grabbing as many of these privately keywords as possible. So I can now see that there's only those 4 in there. But that might be an article for me now, because I could then multiply that. So then I'm just going to go across. I'm going to merge all of these cells. I'm going to write the word privately. So even though that's not necessarily what that article would be targeting, it's nice for me to at least have some kind of a term from there. So I now know that's probably an article idea. Privately right there, I could, with 4 keywords out of 90, that's probably an article. And I can definitely find more of those. And I'll show you how to do that at the end of this. So now I'm going to go back through. So you can see a lot of things propping up. So how to sell your home is now just going to be the one that we go after. So how to sell your home. That's our keyword at the moment. So I'm going to take this, bring it across, make a small gap. Oh, I can see I've made a mistake with the prior list, so I'm just going to quickly correct that. There we go. So I can see I'm starting to get some stuff together. So how to sell your home. Now what I'm going to look for, instead of just similar ones, so how to sell your home, which is another keyword that I might have a chance to target. And I'm going to continue down, how to sell a home. I'm now starting to find down in this point of the list, how to sell a home fast, how to sell a home quickly, as is, by owner, fast tips, on your own. So I can now just take this whole list of home keywords, and this is going to be something that I can start putting together as a potential how to sell a home article, which will then have a whole lot of different things within that. So you can see there are a lot of home keywords, and I don't care if I repeat or if they're similar. That's actually a good thing because it makes it easier to target. But so what's that? That's 7 keywords or so, maybe 8 keywords. That's a good basis. I can now tell that this is definitely an article. So I go merge and center and I write in the topic, how to sell home. That's just what I'll put it as for my own benefit. And that'll make it nice and easy. And I'm also going to wrap that text so it all appears there. You can see I've already got 2 article ideas just from scrolling through the list. What you'll find is the bigger your list, the easier this process is. So in this, I could also just get how to sell real estate, go after all the real estate keywords. That's then an article for me. How to sell property. Property is now an article. So you're really trying to get a basic word. So how to sell your home, and then it goes into how to sell your home fast, how to sell your home quickly, how to sell your home in a week, how to sell your home on your own, all these different options for you to then build an article off of. So that's really what we're looking for. So you can see in a really short period of time, I'm able to get some ideas. Now, once you have these article ideas and you've gone through your whole list and put it together, what you're then going to do is actually rerun, so re-put in all of these keywords into Google Keyword Planner. So I would then go into the tool, take these keywords, put it in as my ideas, and see what Google spits back out at me. And then once again, search for the how keywords. Hopefully I'm going to get more and more ones that are similar to this and actually make it work properly for myself, which will make a really, really large difference as I go through. Because what you'll find is that these articles might end up targeting 20, 30 keywords on their own. So they're going to be dense articles in terms of keywords, and it will make a really, really big difference for how you rank. So there you go. That's how you break your list up into a David group. When you do this, the big thing to remember is that similar to the Goliath, you're looking for hows, whys, whats, whos, and tips and ways. Now, as you break these down, don't just stop at 10 keywords. I said it before, 20, 30, 40, 50 keywords per article, because that's how you can turn an 1,000 word or 2,000 word article, instead of having to spend $40 on it or $20 on it, depending on who you're using. Now you're spending $20 or $40 on all of those keywords. So it might be $1 a keyword for you to target, which makes a much bigger difference when you break it down that way. So that's why I want you to look at these articles, is you're paying per keyword. So you want to try and slam in keywords. Remembering though that you might not get the chance to target all of them, because the most important thing at the end of the day is the article makes sense. Because if the article doesn't make sense, ranking for it, which means that this article will then appear in the search results, when someone clicks on it and they read your article that's just pumped with keywords and no one's able to do anything with it, it's going to be a bit of a hard sell for you to then say, I'm a good person to use, because they don't really trust you. So remembering lots of keywords, but still trying to make sure that once the article is actually written, it makes sense and it's quality work. So there you go. There's the David strategy. Thanks for watching.